Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Tuesdays with Terica. Hey, you know what? I wanted to share a little bit about some real estate situations or things that are going on in the market. Stick around. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to this week's Tuesdays with Terica. Yay! Hey guys, for those of you who don't know, I'm Terica Talbert. I am with Century 21 Blackwell and Company, and I thought it would be nice for us to share some information regarding the real estate market as it stands today. So, I always come with some type of inspirational, encouraging word or some business that is actually up and coming. But today I wanted to just share a little bit about what's going on in the real estate market as we are today. As many of you know, I am a real estate agent here locally in South Carolina. And a lot of things have not changed, but it is changing a bit. And so I thought it would be nice for me to just kind of tap into a couple of things just to kind of let you as a consumer know if you're in the market now to sell or to buy, some things that you might want to consider, okay? So first off, when you are actually planning or preparing, you just have a thought about what's going on in the market or some things about what you might want to do with your current home or buying another home, you need to have a conversation with a licensed realtor. Now, with that being said, newbies are great. Newbies are wonderful because they're excited. They don't have a lot of clients under their belt yet. They usually come, hopefully, with experience that they can glean from their current companies. So all that is fine and well. I encourage that just like I would an established agent. However, they can't really compare to an established agent, in my opinion, just because of the experience that someone that has been in the business 5 years plus has had. A lot of times when you've already worked in the business, certain situations and circumstances that you find yourself in gives you a little bit of an edge because you have had to walk that thing through. You have had to hear some complaints, some encouraging stories. You have gone through a process of something, one thing or another. And so that kind of gives you a little bit of an edge up in what's going on in the market. You're not as fearful because some things you have already gone through before, some things you already know how to navigate through. I think with a newer agent, they are fearless because they've never had the experience. But with an experienced agent, they have most of the time, not always the answer, but they have an answer, okay? I want you to have a conversation with an experienced agent. And I want you to interview your selling agent as well as your buying agent because there is a difference. As a selling agent, that agent is going to actually put the house on the market for you. They're going to tell you some things that you need to be aware of as far as preparation for setting the tone and the stage of your home for it to be prepared for taking pictures. For those of you who have watched my tips with Terica, you've seen where I've had clients to just leave the driveway packed with a lot of the stuff that they were trying to give away. And that was on the day that I was actually preparing to have an open house. It was the next day or something that I was going to have the open house. But because of that, that was a deterrent. So we had to kind of postpone some things and rework some situations to kind of navigate through that. You want to always make sure that your house is showing in the best possible light. I always encourage my clients, my sellers, take down your personal pictures. Take down the things that are private and personal to you. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times I have taken people to homes where the buyer was supposed to be looking at the house, and they'll look at the pictures and they'll say, oh, I went to school with them, or I know them, I used to work with them, or whatever the case may be. It's not about how you're making a connection with the individual. It's how are you falling in love with the house? How is the house meeting your need? So if you are actually taking that away, you're taking that away, that you're eliminating that from the obstacle of them actually seeing the house and being present while they are walking through. So that's one thing that I would suggest. I would also suggest if you have fur babies, I've also given this as a tip before, make sure your fur babies are secure somewhere. If that means you have to make preparation to remove them from the home before showings are scheduled, do whatever you can. And the reason why I say that is because that is also, or can be, another distraction. The kids want to play with the animal. The kids want to touch, and we don't want that. We don't want somebody to say, because I get texts or calls all the time, hey, don't let the cat out. Well, if the cat is secure somewhere when you know we're coming through, then that's not even an obstacle anymore. You've already eliminated the process for that. I know that every fur baby, it's their home and it's their place of comfort. And I know that you don't want to sell your home and make your fur baby feel uncomfortable. But how uncomfortable is it when there's already somebody else, a stranger coming in that they don't know anyway, and yet they're roaming around, and there's a little person that's wanting to pull their tail or wanting to pet them. Sometimes your fur babies don't feel like that. They don't feel like that interaction. But if you are able to do something to help counteract that situation, it's all for the better. I also suggest, hey, put up your private things. If your agent hasn't told you, don't leave checkbooks out. Don't leave money laying around. If you know that it's jewelry that means something to you, whether it's expensive or not, put it up. Put it in a safe place. I am actually touring with all of my clients, but I'm going to tell you, if there's more than one person or two people there, I'm not eyes on every single person every single time that we're in your home. But I can go back and forth. I can watch the best that I can. Unfortunately, I don't have eyes in the back of my head. If somebody detours and goes to another part of the house and I am talking to or interacting with the person that is the decision maker, I can't be accountable for something that I don't know anything about. So take the extra liberty that you have to secure your property. Also, I want to just make sure that your house has great curb appeal, because once the sign goes in the yard, you want to make sure that whether they have access, a potential buyer has access to the MLS or Realtor.com or Zillow or whatever in that moment. You want them to do a drive-by and say, hey, that's a nice house. I see that sign in the yard. I want to see if I can get in to take a look. Curb appeal is a must. I think for you as a seller's agent, just talk to your people. Understand, what is my agent going to do for me? Everybody says, well, we all do the same thing. We put a sign in the yard. We negotiate for you. We don't do this and we don't do that. We might have an open house. We might not. You need to know specifically, what is your agent doing for you? And that way it can eliminate any type of miscommunication as you're moving forward. Know what days your agent is going to be available. Know what times they're going to be available. Everybody doesn't work like me. I answer my email quite often, but I'm not going to anymore because I've decided I want to have a life. And I know that other agents, we all try to be very accommodating, but we do have a right to have a life. And even though your listing, your home being sold is very important to me and to all of us, you still need to know, what are the lines that I can't cross to make sure that we are respecting each other's boundaries, okay? And for those of you who are not sure whether or not you need a buyer's agent, you do. And the reason why you do is because whether you are Googling, whether you have talked to a person who has had a past experience with buying or selling, and they're sharing their experiences with you, the market changes so much. What happened 20 years ago, actually what has happened 2 or 3 years ago is not the same today. They can only give you their outline of what their experience was. You need to know what's going on now. You also need to have a conversation with your buyer's agent. While you are interviewing them, they need to be interviewing you too. They need to know, are the requests that you are asking them to find, is it reasonable? Is it something that they feel like they can actually deliver on your behalf? You need to know what's going on, and you need to know what to expect from a buyer's agent. They are your spokesperson. They are the ones that kind of run interference for you. They are the ones that's going to negotiate on your behalf. They're the ones that's going to say, look, Mr. Seller, my buyer needs this, 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 and this. Not always will we be able to get everything 100% that you want or need, but we're going to check off the main things that you are needing and that you are wanting, because our job is to look out for you, but it has to be realistic. Okay? Know what your buyer's agent is going to do. How are they going to deliver? It is much more that a buyer's agent has to offer than just going to the house and unlocking the door. If you really have a good buyer's agent that knows exactly what their job is and how to fight on your behalf, how to negotiate on your behalf, how to speak on your behalf, you need to know, what does that mean to me? You need to interview so that when you're having dialogue, what are the negotiables? What are the things that I'm not willing to compromise on? How is this person going to represent me? Do we have a likeness in style? Are they very aggressive, or do I need somebody a little more laid back? Are they too laid back? Do I need them to be a little more aggressive? You need to know who is going to represent you in the best light. That way, that will also eliminate any situations as you're moving forward. There is a thing that we were talking about that I had mentioned before, where NAR has come out, where a seller's agent may have had conversation where they are stating that compensation for a buyer's agent is not necessary or needed in this season. I have told all of my sellers, you want to be able to give some type of compensation to a buyer's agent, because it's a protection for you. If that individual as a buyer has representation, that is going to eliminate you from things that may come that you're not even aware of. That's going to eliminate you from having to have additional conversation for things that you are not prepared for, Mr. Seller. I've already had conversations with my sellers on that. Sometimes the buyer's agent needs to know and have the conversation with their buyer. If I can't negotiate for myself because of I'm going to do this, and this for you, are you okay with me figuring out a way for you to be able to compensate me because I'm actually working for you? There is more and more detail in that one statement that I won't have right now, because I think every buyer's agent needs to have their own way of presenting compensation to their particular buyer themselves. So I want you to have a conversation with your buyer's agents. Have a conversation with your buyer. Buyers know that this is something that is going to be coming. This is something that if you've never heard it before, you will be hearing about it. You also want to be prepared, buyers, that you will need to sign agency, because we need to make sure as a buyer's agent that you are okay with working with me. That's why we're going to have a conversation up front. That's why we're going to have some dialogue along the journey, because I want to make sure that if I'm putting all in for you, that you are going to stick with me as your representation. And a lot of times, in past times before, it wasn't as needed and necessary as it is now. But I want you guys to know things are changing a little bit. Not that it's a bad thing, it's a good thing, because now everybody is accountable for what they are in agreement to. Having conversation just allows you to know where I stand, and it also allows me to know where you stand. And so that way it's easier for us to move forward because we both have an understanding. So the gist of this whole thing is have a conversation with your agent. Whoever you are interviewing, whoever you choose, make sure you know what they are willing to do for you and what you're willing to give them as far as a commitment. Sometimes we can be committed to each other as short as a day. I have a lot of out of town people that are coming. They're not sure if we're going to be a good match because we haven't had a chance to have rapport. But I will need you to sign agency for me to be able to show you even one property in this season. Doesn't mean that you have to commit to me for a long period of time. Not 6 months, not 3 months, just long enough for me to show you what you're looking for. And that way, as time moves forward, I'm wanting to earn your business. I'm wanting to earn your trust. And we can always extend the time frame in which you are committed to me and which I am committed to you. South Carolina is a no-fault state. So at any time, if you feel like I'm not doing my job as your buyer's agent, your representation, then I can be fired. That is not my goal. My goal is to make sure that I'm doing the best job possible for you and that you are comfortable with the conversation that we're having, the language that I am speaking, and how I am pouring out to whoever is in the community to make whatever the situation is that we're trying to achieve happen. Okay? Have a conversation. Don't deter from it. Stand on your word and allow your agent, whoever that may be, to be committed to you. Okay? Hey, this is the week after Mother's Day. I did not tell my mothers Happy Mother's Day. Not in a formal way. I did, but I didn't. So I hope all of the mothers have had a wonderful Mother's Day. We bid you Godspeed for all of the sacrifice and the love that you give to your families. And you know what, guys? I'm Terica Talbert with Century 21 Blackwell and Company. I sponsored today's episode. Hey, I wish you would like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you're needing in this season. I wanted to just pour out a little bit of nuggets for the real estate market. I'm going to do a little bit more of that, but I just want to make sure that you know somebody is here to help you. Somebody really has a heart for the people. I'm not the only one, but I am one. I want to see people succeed. I want to see people grow. I want to see people happy. Home ownership is a part of all of that. So however I can help, please feel free to give me a call. Until next week, enjoy.